I am here by Uno, the creator of the Perfect Platinum Pixie, and you are watching Trendy with Kim Allison.
Welcome to another episode of Trendy with Kim Allison. And today I am joined by a man who has not only changed the hair game, but he is crushing the hair game. He's the guru responsible for the iconic Perfect Platinum Pixie and a mentor for stylists worldwide. This is the man, I'm not done, who proved you can go blonde and bone straight on textured hair without compromising an ounce of integrity. Y'all know him, you love him, and you better be ready because Hair by Uno is next to me on this screen. So,
What's going?
are you ready to be inspired? Are you ready to be inspired? Uno, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. How are you today?
I am doing great. How'd you like that amazing introduction I gave
I
you?
thought it was wonderful. I love you. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And thank you for having
Give
me.
Yes,
Giving
giving
me
you your
my
flowers
flowers.
while you're next to me.
That's right.
Alrighty, so again, I wanna personally thank you for coming on. It's been a long time coming for me because 'cause you're one of the guests that I wanted to have on this show when I created it a year and a half
Oh, cool.
ago, because you're innovative and you've actually changed the industry in an impactful way, and I think that's very important to share. I created this show to inspire the next generation of hair, and you are truly one of those trailblazers that I'm sure many to follow will look up to. So let's get into starting with a sprinkle of your origin story, because I always say we don't find hair, it finds us somehow. So, how did hair find you, Uno?
Kind of a couple of different ways it found me, actually. My mom, my grandma, they're very conservative. We're from St. Louis, Midwest city. I call it a town, but it's a big city from Missouri. But they're very like plain Jane, very simple, with their looks. And I was always
Mm.
like, I'm like, no, I want a different haircut. Like I was first obsessed with like Theo Huxtable's hair. Remember when he first had like the little two-tone color on the Cosby Show and the Gumby and Bobby Brown and Big Daddy Kane, like
Oh my God, and may he rest his soul.
exactly.
Yeah.
But like I was obsessed with their hair. Like I love like the asymmetrical the asymmetrical haircut. The Gumby was really big. You remember the TV show Gumby back in the day? So everybody cut their hair into a little Gumby slant. So I always wanted the next type of haircut. Like I wanted the next level haircut. I wanted to look different. I didn't want the we called it the mama's boy haircut. So I didn't want the mama's boy haircut, even all over military. I'm like, this is not me. I don't like this. I don't like this. But it was just like one of those, okay, well, that's what you have to do. And every once in a while, she would let me play and do something different to it. But then, it's time to go back to church. Oh, we're cutting this back down. I'm like, okay, whatever. So that was my first take on what I wanted my hair to look like. So then, of course, I love salt and pepper. I was obsessed with salt and pepper. And I love their asymmetrical hairstyles. I guess I really just always liked something about just not completely even. I like some type of something has to be off a little bit, whether it's like a hair strand out of place or something.
You like
I like
symmetry.
symmetry, but I also like
Yeah,
asymmetry. I
yeah.
mean, I like asymmetrical as well. So, but I did love when Pepper,
Oh, true, true. Asymmetrical, that was the
yeah,
word.
but I also loved Pepper's hair. Pepper had like that peroxide blonde, and I always just thought it was cool. I'm like, they look really, really cool. They kind of was spitting like guys and all that stuff. So those are like the first two like hair influences that I really had, like the guys and then Salt and Pepper. And then of course, like I say, when Theo Huxtable they started shoe shining their hair with the color, I'm like, oh, I gotta do that. I gotta do that. My mom's like, no, you're not doing it. You're not doing it. Okay, fast forward. I always just wanted different haircuts, different hairstyles. I was always intrigued. When I think back to it, I remember my mom going to the beauty salon, and that was when you could take your kids to the salon with you. So when she was getting her hair done, this is in hindsight. I'd never really kind of like connected the dots with this, but in hindsight, I'm like, this is probably where my interest came. I would sit there and while she was getting her haircut, I would sit on the floor right by the station about the salon chair, and I would literally like make piles and make creations and stuff with like dead hair on the floor. Don't ask why, kids being kids. Um, I would play with her rollers when we got home. Not rolling hair, I would just kind of act like it were cards and stuff. But it was always something with hair I was doing. Again, this is in hindsight because nothing in my mind said, "Oh, you want to do hair." My aunt was a hairstylist, so I was always in the barbershop next door getting my hair cut while my mom was getting her hair done. And I always was very opinionated about my mom's hair. Like she would get something, I'm like, "Oh, I like that." I'm like, "Oh, don't get that. That makes you look old." I always had an opinion about it. So then it was kind of like, okay, then I kind of just started looking at like everybody's hair. Like I was always kind of looking at somebody's hair and when stacks were in and roller wraps and all this stuff. And I'm like, this looks kind of cool. Fast forward to, I think right before I started high school, Drew Hill came out and my mom was in there.
Oh
My mom
yeah,
was
Drew Hill.
in her room getting dressed, getting ready to go to work. She worked nights, and she was like, "Son, come here, come here, come here." She was like, "Oh my God, have you seen this little guy in this little group, Drew Hill?" I'm like, "No." She was like, "The guy that sing Tell Me." I'm like, "I don't really like that song." She was like, "But look at his hair, it's so cute." And I'm like, "What is?" She was like, "It's like blonde." So I walked in the room and I saw it, and my eyes lit up. I was like. I'm like, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. She's like, no, you're not. I'm like, oh, yes, I am. And it literally like ignited something in me. I was obsessed. I'm like, I have got to get my hair that color. I'm getting my hair blonde. Mind you, I'm 14. She's like, no, that's just too much. You don't need all this. Anyway, that's where the interest sparked. And then I just kind of just fell into it. Like freshman year, one of my friends after school, her aunt was a hairstylist, so she had like all the curling irons that her aunt gave her. I'm like, let me curl your hair. I think I can do it. I think I can do it. And I started playing with her hair. Didn't know what I was doing. Then I just kind of, like I said, I just kept falling into it. I kept seeing different hairstyles, and I was always in a salon when I would get my haircut, I would go next door, sit underneath my aunt, watch her and everybody, and I just love like the creativity. And of course, I was looking at the money too, because all of the, everybody had
Where the money
where the
resides.
money resides. Like they had the money, they had the nice cars, they had all the things, and I'm like, that's my thing. I'm like, that's what I like, that's what I need, and I just kept going and kept going and kept going, and then one thing led to another, and then
Listening to your origin story, you said something, being a little kid, watching, just observing in the hair salon when you went with your mom, back when kids could go to the hair salon. Well, I wonder now with this next generation, we can no longer have kids. So are we taking that away from the next generation of children to get that inspiration? Because now it's no kids. No kids. They can't come into anybody's salon.
I don't think it's taken away from because all the kids do right now is do what we're doing right now on the phone, look at the phone, scrolling. So, I mean, the good thing about it is, even though social media kind of like gets annoying to me a little bit sometimes, there is some pros to it. Like I say, you can find all kind of stuff. Like you may be inspired by like one particular person that maybe lives, across the country or lives in another country, but you can actually get inspired by their work and you can actually see what they're doing. So that now with everybody doing live streams and tutorials and Instagram lives and everything like that, there's ways that you can actually still learn and still get inspired without actually being in the salon. But again, I do feel like it's nothing like just being in that salon environment.
Yeah, and to your point, even if they were in the salon environment, they'd still be head buried into the phone or on
Yep,
their iPad. So they probably wouldn't be looking and being inspired anyway. So
exactly.
yeah, so and another thing you said Cisco, I remember when Drew Hill came onto the scene and here's this blonde-haired and when he did the thong song, right,
Yep.
is when he went blonde. And so I wonder what the inspiration was for him behind that and who the hairdresser was. That's where my brain went. I was like, "Oh, that was iconic." That
You know
actually
what?
was a cult classic.
I don't remember. I feel like back then I knew what the story was behind him going platinum, but I honestly can't remember. I don't think, I think at that time I wasn't even thinking about the hairstylist that did his hair and they created the look. Man, you know what? I think Cisco was coloring his own hair at one point.
I think that's really iconic for him to change the game like that because after that, he
Hmm.
every women and men, all of a sudden you started seeing platinum hair, short, low cut platinum hair. And that's why we're here today to talk about your amazing system, the Perfect Platinum Pixie. And you are representing, of course, you got to be
Yes,
your
yes, yes.
brand, right? So with
I
yeah, so
know.
let's talk a little bit about the origin story of the Perfect Platinum Pixie, which I'll refer to because my tongue gets all twisted. I'll refer to it as
The
PPP from
PPP.
here on out. So the PPP is a game changer, especially
If we just
ex- I know. The PPP is a game changer, especially for textured hair. Can you walk us through your journey? Like, what specific gap did you see in the market that made you say, I have to create a system for this?
I don't like being told no. So when I first started doing hair and I started doing platinum and I wanted to do all of my friends' hair platinum, I kept on saying, okay, I can get it platinum. How do you straighten it? And they're like, you can't straighten it. And I'm like, there has to be a way to straighten it. They're like, if not, the hair's gonna fall out. And I'm like, I don't think so. And they're like, we've been doing hair 50 years. We're telling you it's not gonna work. And I'm like, still don't think so. So I've always been a daredevil, a rule breaker, a rule bender.
Disruptor.
I am a disruptor. Proud to be a disruptor.
You know
And
what?
I just did it. So
Disruptors are your best entrepreneurs, right? They're the money making
the
entrepreneurs.
trailblazers,
Yeah, the trailblazer.
you gotta have a daredevil because if somebody doesn't try it, then nothing happens.
Right.
People would still be walking around right now with crunchy looking platinum pixies, not really platinum, especially women of color, textured hair, all this stuff. It wouldn't do it. So I just went on a journey. Everybody kept saying you couldn't do it. And I'm like, there has to be a way. There has to be a way. I got to figure out something. I'm going to figure out something.
I was gonna say, I love that you did that because the client, for decades, many women of color have struggled to achieve a platinum blonde pixie, as you said, without damage. So, what were some of the most common heartbreaking stories you heard from clients who kind of fueled your drive to create this system?
Aside from the heartbreaking stories that I was hearing from clients and their journey with trying to go platinum, I gave out some heartbreaks too. Like I tore up some heads. I mean, I'm just being honest. Like I had a
We
couple
all
of
have.
friends, like I had a couple of friends that I was like, okay, yeah, I can do it. I can figure it out. And it would get straight. And then the next day they call and they'd be like, hey, so the top of my hair fell out.
Oh,
And I'm like, okay, so I guess we're gonna put some weave in. We're gonna figure out something else. Yeah, that's what we're gonna have to do. And I was just resilient. I just would not give up. I said, I'm going to figure out something. I'm going to figure out something. And I kind of thought I figured out something. It was working, but it's still a little bit flawed. And then I ended up having a client that was a chemist, and I was kind of telling her what I was going through, what I was trying to achieve, what I was trying to figure out.
mhm.
And she kind of gave me some pointers, and maybe it's like, well, maybe we can try this, or maybe we can mix this up, and it just became a lifelong science project.
That's what I was gonna ask you, like, what was your aha moment, like, after years of research, I'm sure it took years, you developed this custom system. Can you share the moment you knew you had finally perfected the technique?
When I straightened it, well, nobody's hair ever came out at the bowl. I will say that. Like I never had like a problem with, oh my God, I think I took their hair. Actually, no, that's a lie. I think maybe like two or three times. This was like early on. It was like, oh, at the ball, I was like, oh, wait a minute, that didn't work. Or maybe I did this too long, or maybe I don't know what I did. But when I finally had the aha moment, the hair wasn't coming out. It still felt soft. And I was calling her like every other day. I'm like, your hair still okay? Is it still good?
Yeah.
Does it feel crunchy? Does it feel dry? And she's like, nope, it feels fine. Send me a picture. Nope, it still looks good. Come up to the shop. Let me shampoo it again because I need to make sure and it was fine. I was like, okay, I think I'm on to something. And then anybody that would let me do it, I just did it. Hope, look, it was always,
Fingers crossed,
okay, it's a
fingers
coin
crossed.
toss. It's a 50-50 chance. It's either going to
Well,
leave or stay.
well, at least you had those people behind you willing to give you a shot to let you be, let or they were your guinea pigs. You've called the PPP a standard, not just a style, and mentioned
It is
eh,
the standard.
right, and you've mentioned it being tied specifically to Black culture. Could you elaborate on what you mean by that, and I guess the deeper significance of the look?
The deeper significance of the look is, most beauty standards, even in cosmetology school, the cosmetology books, everything is based off of Caucasian hair. Nothing is really based off of textured hair, or you get like this little small slither or this small segment of, oh, I never forget being in cosmetology school, and I had never heard the word, tongue twister. I had never heard the word negroidic,
What is that?
negroid descent, I guess.
Oh,
Like there was in Milady's, I will never forget it. In Milady's handbook for cosmetology book, it said, "Oh, something, something, something to disguise negroidic features or negro."
oh, don't make me pull out my Milady book. It's in the next room.
Listen,
What?
pull out the one. If you find a copy that was made in 2000 or 2001, whatever copy was out at that point, it said negroidic. And I remember we were in class and like my white friends, they were like, and I'm like,
Anything
what the
close
fuck
to
did it
an
say?
N.
Yeah, check that out. Like I'm gonna be talking about that real soon. I don't want to give too much away, but it's coming.
Okay,
But no, it was like
perfect.
I say, but just based everything was always just based off of white beauty standards and what they perceive to be beautiful for black people, black women in particular. Just telling, there were so many times you would hear, oh, platinum looks ghetto on black people, or oh, you're too dark to wear that color, or you shouldn't wear that color, or back in the day, like I had clients that, worked in corporate. They're like, oh, you have to be careful with my color. I work in corporate. I'm like, "Fuck corporate, like, so what?" I'm like,
Yeah,
the rule says that you can't have a non-natural color hair. Platinum is a natural color. There are black people who are born with blonde hair. There are aborigines that are born with blonde hair. So you can't tell somebody that you can't wear blonde hair because you're black just because you guys don't think that it's cute or you guys don't think that we can do it. So I didn't like that. And so I'm like, nah, I'm like, you have older black women that are like gray and silver foxes and their hair is naturally white at a certain point. And I'm like, well, if they can do it and they look beautiful with it, okay, we gonna put it on everybody.
I love
And
that.
so
Amazing.
it was
And
just kind of like it was like my FU to the beauty industry.
yes. Yes, because who sets the standard for beauty and who can do what with what? And you're absolutely right when it comes to hair color. If you wear a fashion color, you're considered ghetto, where a different race can wear that exact same color and it's considered cool, right? So
Cool
we
and
all know.
trendy and
Yeah, like, "Oh my
fashionable
god,
and
look
all of
at
it.
that is so cool." Yeah, exactly. So, unfortunately, in the good old US, this is what it is for now, right? We'll keep breaking
That's
those
what it's
barriers.
been.
Yeah, that's what it's been. When we talk about doing the Perfect Platinum Pixie or the PPP, we know it's a delicate dance, because traditional bleaching and relaxing are destructive processes just in general. Bleach, it breaks the disulfide bonds and
Bonds
hyd
and everything, and you have to
yeah,
rebuild
and
them.
yeah, and while hydrogen are hydroxide based relaxers, they break it down, reform them, and then, to change the hair structure. With many stylists like myself, today we rely on bond builders, additives, in all of those things to protect the hair, like an Olaplex or a K18. Can you tell us, how your system, the PPP, goes beyond just an additive to make bond building an integral part of the process.
There's a few steps incorporated, but what I can say is, without giving anything away,
Yeah.
and if you really want to know, you guys make sure you register for the Perfect Platinum Pixie seminar. You can do a one-on-one class. You can do a small group class if you really want to know the real deal. But what I can say, without giving anything
Shameless
away,
plug that I
is
support.
shameless plug. Yeah, we do have things in place and steps in place to ensure the integrity of the hair stays and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, and that was mainly my question. Do you have things in place that are built into the formula, I'm assuming,
Oh
or the
yeah, built into the
process that
formula,
help to
the
protect.
aftercare. Yeah, it's more than, like I say, it's not just a linear equation. Like, there's things you have to do at home to keep it up. There's things you have to do when you shampoo your hair. There's treatments that you may need to get. There's a few steps, but it's just
Yeah, there are a lot
important
of
for the
steps.
people. Yeah, it's important for the people that's doing the service to really make sure they're paying attention. They're reading the literature that we have provided for you guys, and that you're also giving your clients the proper at-home care, at-home maintenance instructions, the products, all that.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's address like a little taboo. One of your posts mentions the method achieves a bone straight blonde pixie without the use of the creamy crack, which we hate. Although the creamy crack has come back mild and
I've
gentle, I
never not,
hear. I don't know.
I've never not
That's
liked
a
the creamy
whole
crack.
nother. Okay. Well, why is it important for you to, so you've never made that distinction is what you're saying in any post, like forget about the creamy crack and go platinum pixie.
I say because hey, there's a million ways to skin a cat. So
There we
I
go.
don't necessarily not anybody's way of doing what they do. Some people like pork in their greens. Some people like turkey. Hey, if it tastes good, it tastes good. So if you can do it with a relaxer and the client's hair stand on the head, more power to you. That's just not what I do. I'm not really big on like bashing anybody's technique because what works for you works for you.
So what I was implying the relaxer itself wasn't it just wasn't a go-to product for many reasons. It was just all we had. So you came up with the technique with an alternative that people can use that where the hair is just not dead. It still has shine and life to it while doing these, pretty advanced procedures like bleaching and straightening, much less in one fell swoop. All right, Uno, you've built a global network of stylists who are certified to use your system because now that you've released it and graced us the world for a nominal fee, I would add. What does this training entail, and what are the ongoing benefits and expectations for certified specialists?
It entails a exclusive class. The the education behind it is very serious. I'm very serious about people understanding what they're doing, why they're doing, and what they're doing it for. A lot of people are just doing it just so they can be nosy and find out, how it's being done. But I really care about the people like doing it because they really want to do it. They really want to provide an excellent service to their clients. The class is typically anywhere between 6 hours and 8 hours. It can really be done in about 4 or 5 hours, but of course, people have questions. I want to make sure that they are using all their senses with the class, sense of touch, sight, smell. You know what I'm saying? I want
Yeah,
to make sure it's just a fully immersive experience. They need to know about aftercare. They need to know about who is a candidate, the
right.
consultation. I go over the consultation with them. A lot of people don't
Mhm.
do consultation. So I really go over, I don't leave any stone unturned when they are learning the technique.
Well, it sounds like you definitely care about the bigger picture, and it's not just snake oil and a money grab. So we appreciate that. And beyond hair, you mentor tour both new and seasoned stylists in business development. Is that correct?
Correct.
What inspired you to take on this mentoring role, and what's the most common business challenge stylists come to you with?
What made me take on the mentoring role was just seeing how so many stylists were overworking themselves and were underpaid and were unhappy with what they were doing. Everybody seemed to be complaining about the same thing. I don't make enough money. I don't have enough time for myself. I don't have enough. n- everybody just had
Mhm.
complaint, 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 complaint,
Mhm.
complaint. And I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, I figured out a way to not deal with as many complaints. And I'm like, to keep the industry going and to keep people having the love for doing hair. And aside from the hair, it's customer service.
Mhm.
So just to keep all of that going, I wanted to make sure, like, because I figured out a technique and I figured out a system of making it work for myself where I still have work-life balance, just to that's kind of my way of pouring back into the hair community and giving back to different hairstylists. I get sad when I see like 70-year-old hairstylists, 70-year-old hairstylists not
Mm.
doing it because they still love it. They doing it because they don't know anything else. They
Mm.
never giving themselves the opportunity to tap into something else because they never felt like they had time to tap into something else, or they feel like they're going to lose clients or lose customers if they try to do something else. So just just seeing it year after year after year after
Mm.
year, working with people that were older than me, seeing them, just seeing it and being involved in it before I got my own space. It just kind of puts it in my head. I'm like, that's not gonna be me.
Yeah, that's not it. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
absolutely. So that is a great lesson for stylists, but what would you say to the clients? For clients who have received the PPP, what is the most not the loan, the Perfect Platinum Pixie for reference. What is the most important piece of maintenance advice you can give? What at-home products are essential for clients to maintain this look?
Number one thing is listen to what your Perfect Platinum Pixie specialist is telling you to use on your hair. The number one product that we sell is Platinum Protect. That's something that you need to put on your hair at least 2 or 3 times a day, especially when you first get the service. You want to keep the hair lubricated, you want to keep it soft, you want to keep it tied up, avoid cotton. There's a list of things, but the Platinum Protect is the number one product that people need to use. That's like I say, that's the number one product that I sell.
I love that.
And my clients swear by it. They buy like 2 and 3 bottles at a time, even though it lasts long, but they rather be extra prepared than underprepared. And I
And
think a lot of people that experience problems with it are usually underprepared, or they don't have the products, or sometimes hairstylists don't listen.
mhm.
Sometimes hairstylists, everybody's creative. Everybody wants to do their own thing instead
Mhm.
of, everybody wants to remix the recipe. And it's like, no, sometimes you have to do what is taught to you because that's what's been proven to work.
Yeah, and then it's just like baking a cake. If it says 1 cup, it means
Use
1
one
cup,
cup.
literally exactly to the bone. So
Don't put raisins in a potato salad.
yeah, that's right. Exactly. Oh my gosh, and I'm sure you have to deal with that backlash a little bit, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Of
But
blame and fault and all the things, right?
I mean, it just comes with the territory. When if somebody has a problem or experience, I always go to the specialist first. I'm like, hey, somebody sent the email. They had a question about their service. They sent me a picture. Something's going on with their hair. You want to walk me through what you did? Because I ask the people. I'm like, who did your hair? And they're like, oh, I don't want to say it. I don't want to get the person in trouble. I'm like, everybody's grown. You're not gonna get nobody in trouble, but I want to make sure that you have the right information and that they're not repeating the same mistake on somebody else.
Right. Yeah, we get that a lot. I think we're between client and stylist, it's like you will go to someone else before you tell the stylist kind of what your concerns are, which is not fair to the stylist. A stylist is no different than a doctor. A doctor is can't guess what pain points you're feeling. You kind of have
You
to
have to
give
tell them
them you have to give them something to work with, and if you don't say anything, how can they help you? You don't give them an opportunity. So,
exactly.
yeah, that's and it's nice when you have a hairdresser's hairdresser who creates a product. That's the difference,
Yep.
when it's a hairdresser versus, just a corporation who's acquired a hair product. They understand that nuance of feeling, what it's like, client to hairdresser relationship. So I appreciate that you support your specialist that way. Yeah, so with all of that said, everyone, this is definitely something that you should do your research and your homework to make sure you find a qualified specialist, not a bootleg, not somebody that watched somebody who somehow got a
Who
hold of
watched
products.
somebody.
Right, because
Exactly.
that happens a whole lot. In fact, I've had a really she's an educator in our industry, and she is definitely will be iconic. She's won every award, and she teaches hair cutting and color, and she says, I'll have somebody take one of my classes and then I'll see my whole curriculum on their new course. Now suddenly they're an educator. So
Mhm.
you get all of that. So with your success, Uno, in creating the PPP, what is next for Hair by Uno? Are there other techniques or products you're developing, and
Um,
what's your vision for the future of your brand as you grow?
expansion.
Mhm.
Expansion right now. I want to see the Perfect Platinum Pixie in Italy. I want to see it in Belgium. I want to see it wherever there are women of color with textured hair that want their hair platinum. Right now, we have specialists in Barbados, we have specialists in Paris, we have specialists in Nigeria, Amsterdam, UK. Right now, we just got somebody in UK. We don't have anybody in South America yet. We got a couple of people who've been talking about it in Canada. Like it's already worldwide as far as I'm concerned because it's not just in the US. It's in different regions of the world right now. But I want it to be everywhere.
Yeah, I'm sure that is just around the corner. I was listening to a podcast, and I love that you go get it and you don't stop until you get it, because he says when people quit, when they run out of gas, when they run out of inspiration, sometimes it's literally 1 minute from you, but you turned around and went the other way, you know?
Yep.
And so I would be curious to talk to you a year from now. And I'm sure some of those other countries unnamed today are going to be on the list. So,
Oh, some of those countries, some of these celebrities, some of these big brands,
love it.
partnerships. I'm waiting for all that.
And especially when you come to the West, honey, you're going to be the most popular hairdresser in the West, I am sure. So, Uno, thank you for your time. I know time is very valuable for you, as the audience knows, because you are half in the car and now you're half sitting down, half
Hey, but I
you
made
are
it. I
on the
made it
move.
happen.
You
But I
did, and you
made
did
it
not.
happen.
You stuck to your commitment, and I appreciate it. But nobody gets out of here without my 60-second blowout. So,
Okay.
at the end of every episode, I do a rapid fire. You have 1 minute to answer. So obviously, the quicker you answer, the better, the more questions
Okay.
you'll get. And you should get
Okay.
100% because nobody knows you better than you, right?
Oh, that's right.
Okay. So now, whew, gosh, I can stop straining.
60
Okay.
second, last 60 seconds, hot
60
seat.
second
Okay.
blowout. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. What has been your favorite age so far?
Favorite age?
25, 30, 40?
Favorite age 22.
What is your go to lazy dinner?
Tacos.
What is your favorite thing to do in the summertime?
Travel.
How often do you floss?
Every literally every meal. I keep floss in my pocket. I keep it in my backpacks. I keep floss everywhere.
Love it. What
I
is
actually
one
probably have it laying around.
I love it. What is one of your nicknames?
Bam bam.
What is the stupidest dare you ever agreed to?
Stupidest dare.
You ain't stupid. What item is worth spending more money on?
Education.
Is your bed made right now?
Yes.
Oh. If you could afford any car, which one would you drive?
Lamborghini Urus.
Love it. Hey, you made it. That was good.
Oh, I got it out through. Except
That
I
was
still don't know what that dare was, but it's probably
yeah.
something I dare myself to do.
Let me ask you a couple of more questions. I know you didn't get through all of them, so I'm gonna ask them anyway.
Okay.
Have you ever written a song for someone?
No.
What is
Well,
one
yes, but not anybody famous.
Okay. What is one thing you regret spending money on?
Close.
What movie do you enjoy quoting the most?
Uh, Clueless.
If you could be transformed into one animal, which one would you choose?
Lion.
Have you ever gone viral online?
Yes.
What is your favorite way to work out?
Weightlifting.
Last question. If you were to write a book, what would it be about?
Me, myself,
Perfect.
and I.
And that is a great closer. Thank you so much. It was so
Thank
much
you for having me,
fun.
Kim.
Yes, of course, and I will let you get on about your evening. Until next time, everybody, Uno, I'll see you later. Bye.
Uno out.